Hello, hello.
Hey, look who it is.
Look who it is. We had a week off.
Wow, it's nice to see you. It's
It's
good to
good
see
to see
you
you.
looking well and in fine fettle and
I have more fettle than I know what to do with.
um what is fettle? Do we know?
Uh, it's um, it's a cross between fennel
Mm,
and a nettle.
okay.
So it's like licorice that sticks to the back of your throat.
It's
I
got
don't
a
know.
it
I don't
bites
know
you
what
back a little bit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Um well, it's good to see you, regardless of whether we have a command of the English language or not.
Yes. Yeah, it's good to be here.
And
Um,
you've gone with the black background tonight for those at home who don't get to see. You've got a
yeah,
very dark black, very moody. It's
yeah.
kind of like a Darth Vader thing going on.
Well, that's what I did last week, and you said to stick with it. So,
Okay, yeah, it's a slightly different vibe though. There's a little bit of backlight on it. It's catching it. It looks like a kind of a
oh,
shiny, glistening
is it
alien cave wall.
really?
It's very
Well, I
nice.
don't think I did anything different. But
Subtleties, man. It's all about the subtleties.
it's all about the subtleties. All right, I'll try and maybe I need to hang some sort of muslin or something.
That might do it.
Um, uh, how you doing? What's going on? What's new in your life?
Just working, doing stuff like working, trying that, and it's going okay. So far,
Cool.
it's okay.
All
I
right.
could take a nap, but other than that, it's fine. I'm drinking some coffee.
Napping is
I'm
good.
gonna get
Coffee
through
is
it. How
good.
about yourself? How are you?
Great. Placed an order for 10,000 bottles the other day. I've never bought 10,000 bottles before.
In your lifetime, probably you have over the time accumulated that many bottles, but not all at once,
Not
probably.
all at once. Not an order of 10,750 milliliter bottles on in a shipping container on a ship coming from India. Never did
Wow,
that before.
that's exciting.
It's very exciting. Now I just have to figure out what to do with them. I'll probably be standing on a street corner somewhere trying to sell them.
You're like a captain of industry now.
If
There should
cat,
be
yeah,
spinning headlines and stuff in as the interstitials of your life.
yeah. Now, right now, I'm more like a red shirt of industry. The guy
Right,
who's a no name beaming down to the planet could die.
right. Lieutenant of industry.
Yeah, right. We'll see. We'll see if we make it to captain. Watching anything interesting?
Watching anything interesting? I watched. I'm halfway through because I don't have time anymore because of this show and other life requirements to actually see anything from beginning to end in one sitting anymore. Doesn't happen. So I watched the first half of a movie. Amelia and I watched the first half of this new Netflix movie, The Harder They Fall,
Uh-huh.
which we're enjoying immensely. It's a lot of fun. It's a western, and
Oh,
we're digging it. That
oh,
I
I'm
can
gonna have to watch
recommend.
that.
Plan to finish it tonight, maybe after the show, because I may have a little bit of time. That's a good recommendation.
I'm gonna have to watch that because you know how I feel about westerns.
I do. We've talked about them on the show.
Yeah, we have. I love a
This
good western.
this is not unlike Silverado in certain respects.
Does it have like so many things that a western should have in it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, then I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Tropes. I love tropes.
Tropes, but they do new things with them, and it's all I mean, that's what that whole thing is about. It's like how you gonna spin it a little bit just to put your name on it.
Yeah. All right, great. I'll give that a watch. I'm still watching this show Silent Witness,
Mm,
British forensic. It's like a Law and Order of Britain, but it's forensic pathologists rather than cops. It's
right.
fiction. Um,
I'm assuming it's slightly more polite than Law and Order or NCIS.
Slightly more polite in some ways, but in other ways, they have, the actor who plays the person who gets killed at the beginning, and then in the next scene, there they are, naked on the table in the morgue. I mean,
They're ruthless. They're
they,
polite to each other, but they're not polite to the audience because they
in
like to kill
terms
people there. In
Well, but
the
also in terms of the science, they just show it. They show the
mm,
naked body. They show the cutting it open and the special effects are extraordinary. But one of the things that's really fun about it is because it's been on for 23 years and it's like the Law and Order of Britain, is people pop up in, like when you and I watch Law and Order, it's like, oh, our buddy this or that person or whatever. People pop up in this, like, oh, look at that. There's a young Cumberbund Bumbersnatch in a very small role.
So, okay, yeah, it would be like the New York crowd over there just seeing
Yeah,
everybody on Law and Order. Oh, that's great.
exactly. Daniel Kaluuya showed
Okay.
up in a
Uh-huh.
young Dan,
Is Matt
and
Berry,
Jodie.
has Matt Berry been on it yet?
I haven't seen Matt Berry. I'm looking forward to that. But Jodie Comer, who plays Eve in Killing Eve,
Mm-hmm.
as a very young woman and brunette. So for a long time, I was saying, I know this person looks so familiar. So familiar. Who is it? And then I looked it up, and it was Jodie Comer. So
Right.
that's a great deal of fun. And also, like so many of those British shows, every single role, the actors, they're all theatrically trained, so they all just really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's nobody who's barely holding on because it's their first TV job.
No. And it also feels, maybe it's because of that, but it kind of also feels like everybody's having a little bit more fun.
Yes, yeah, they do look like they're one of the leads on this show. A fellow named Tom Ward uh, looks like he's having more fun than somebody should have as a forensic pathologist.
Fully clothed at all times?
He's fully clothed at all times, but he's very, very talented and very funny and very good on the show. So I'm greatly enjoying that, and I'm gonna miss it when I get to the end. It's a long binge, 23 seasons.
It is. It's how, I mean, are you actually doing the whole show?
Yeah, but
How
it's
far
only
into it are you?
15 seasons.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Okay.
it's only 10 episodes a season. It's not like a U.S.
Mm-hmm.
network show.
Yeah.
And each crime, each murder solve is 2 episodes. So it's like a little movie,
Okay. Wow.
each one.
So,
But
but they're shorter episodes, but they're longer episodes. There's
no,
less
they're long.
episodes.
No, they're shorter seasons.
Right, but they're longer episodes.
But the episodes are an hour long, and then each murder is 2 full episodes. So it's a 2-hour. It ends
Gotcha.
up being a full movie's worth of time devoted to each
Well,
case.
you are super committed to the procedural
You
program.
know me. I love the
That is
procedural.
your thing. I mean, you
Yeah,
are serious about this. This isn't
yeah.
exactly
You're
like catching fire on social media right now because it's literally now you're 15, 20 years in the past.
Yeah, and you and Dad would just shoot yourselves in the head if I made you watch a procedural for this amount of time.
I don't know if I could hang in for 15 seasons
No. Yeah.
of anything, but pretty much anything.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a great deal of
I'm
fun.
going to
And
ask you only that you need to either hurry through it or put a pause on it because you need to bring something new to the table than that same show every time we get together. Because I'm coming up with like a
like two
new.
months 2 months from now, what are you watching? I'm watching
I'm
this
watching
British
this
show.
show. It's a British show.
Naked dead body.
Have you seen Naked Dead Bodies? It's great. It's British.
I think I'm gonna write a pilot called Naked Dead British Bodies. We could sell that.
It's got a lot of selling points right in the title, I think, for people. It's got a lot of excitement. You don't know what it's going to be, but you know it's going to be a ride.
Matt Berry would definitely be in.
He would
Naked
do
Dead
that
British
for sure. Let's write it for him.
Bodies.
If you're listening, Matt Berry, we're pretty big fans over here.
We're big fans. You know that my roommate, my ringtone for my roommate is whenever he calls me, my phone says, "Hello, Stephen. Hello, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?" And
Yeah.
it makes me laugh every single time.
I probably say that once a day to somebody on the phone.
Yeah,
Probably once a day.
it's the best. So, I guess we have to talk about this week's movie.
Well, we
Um,
told people we would,
okay.
but we don't have to always do what we say we're going to do. We don't always
No,
have to keep our promises.
no, we should talk about this movie. 1984's Silent but Deadly Night. No, wait a second.
Yes.
That's not what it was called.
Different title. That was the European title. They changed that when it came to the
Yes,
States.
Silent but Deadly Night. It's about somebody who dresses up as Santa and farts little children to death when they sit on his lap.
Um, that's not true. That's not what this is about. And we want to maintain our audience base. We want to maintain audience, not lose. Not we want to see the numbers go up, increasing numbers.
Increasing numbers.
These
Okay.
kinds of jokes, I'm afraid, will not help our case there.
Okay. All right. So it's called Silent Night, Deadly Night. There. You happy? That's the name of the movie.
I'm not happy, but let's continue. Nothing you did.
Okay. Moving right along.
I have one
Well,
question
what?
for you.
You know what? Because I was bad, I think you should say punish. Naughty. I think that's what you should say, and then you should kill me.
No, I'm not going to do that. I might call you naughty. I might say punish.
Okay.
But I think that this may be This movie is punishment in and of itself. Perhaps it's punishment enough.
Okay.
And the only thing I've got to say is, like, maybe you feel like now you owe Black Christmas a little bit of an apology.
Oh. All right.
Just a little bit. Because this is what we're dealing with. This is the slasher movie. This is the base. This is the basic one. This is the one that's like, you got this, and on the other hand, you got something that's a little bit more creative.
Yeah, I would say that this movie looks like it was made as if you got the people together who make high school health class movies,
Yeah.
and they made a slasher movie. That's
Right.
what this movie. The level.
I think if
of
those
writing
people
and
were,
acting.
if you got them and then they were sick and they called somebody that they knew, those people made this movie.
Yeah. There's some great stuff in it, though. Do you want to give the plot recap? You want me to give the plot recap?
I'd love to hear you recap this.
Okay. So, little, I don't even remember the character's name. Johnny, what's his name?
Let's get that correct anyway.
The main
Little
character.
little Billy.
Little Billy. Little Billy is riding with his parents on Christmas Eve in the family country squire station wagon to go see his grandfather at the old age home.
It's
And-
not the old age. It's actually not just an old age home. Don't they actually call it the mental institution?
Is it a mental institution?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just an old age home.
I might be wrong about
I
that,
think
but
you might be right. The state
No, I think
mental
they have a big
facility.
picture of the sign in front
Right.
of it, which
State
is the
mental-
state mental
Utah mental
Utah
facility.
mental facility, which
Yeah.
is that's the scariest place
It's
I could
everybody
imagine.
in the state practically.
It's a big place.
And they go there, and there's a whole lot of talk with mom and dad on the ride there. Santa comes, and you should be asleep when Santa comes. He, if you're good, he brings you something, et cetera, et cetera. And they get to the state mental facility, and Grandpa is. How would you describe Grandpa? The first time you see Grandpa, it looks like I've never.
He looks like a
troll.
He looks like a Thunderbirds character. He looks like
Yeah.
a puppet from Thunderbirds.
Exactly. Sitting, staring straight ahead.
Yeah.
Completely non-responsive, Alzheimer's-y. And then the people from the home say to mom and dad, "Oh, we have to talk to you for a minute. Little Dave, you stay here with Grandpa."
Little
And
Billy.
little Billy. And the minute they walk away, Grandpa starts talking to Bill. "You better be good. Santa comes and he's not good to kids who are naughty," and terrifies little Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Then so now little Billy doesn't want to see Santa because Grandpa, who spoke to him but doesn't speak to anybody else, has told him that Santa Claus is bad. Cut to a holdup at a convenience store where Santa Claus comes in and
Not
kills.
the real Santa Claus.
Not
Somebody,
the real Santa Claus. Somebody dressed as
department
Santa
store Santa.
Claus,
Yeah.
yeah, comes in, holds the place up, kills the convenience store clerk, and goes on the run. Cut back to mom and dad and Billy and his little baby brother going down the highway in the family country squire, and lo and behold, there's a car there that's been broken down by the side of the road, and who should be there but the Santa Claus? So they stop to help the Santa Claus, and the Santa Claus shoots the dad in the head, drags the mom out of the car, rapes and stabs her in front of little Billy, who has run away and hid in the bushes, and witnesses the rape and murder of his mother. The very, very graphic and violent rape and murder of his mother.
I
You
would.
gonna
I
you gonna say
concur.
something?
I.
Yeah. Okay.
I have. I know. I'm enjoying your assessment.
Yeah. So then
I like to hear you talk.
Billy and his brother end up in the orphanage run by uh, a character who I'm sure was your favorite character in the whole show, the German accented Mother Superior, who I think was played by the same woman who was your governess right after you were born. I imagined you having flashbacks
Yeah.
watching some of this movie.
Yeah. I started developing a Herbert Lum, a Pink Panther twitch in
Yeah.
my face. I didn't know why, but now you've made it clear.
So he's raised there, and he's in trouble every Christmas because he draws pictures of Santas killing people, not Santas being happy, wonderful people. And then he's forced to sit on Santa's lap at the orphanage Christmas party. And this little kid at 10 years old delivers a Mike Tyson knockout punch to that Santa.
Yeah, he flattens him.
Flattens him, but he's a little tiny kid.
He's a tough little kid, though. You can tell.
Little kid flattens him, gets in more trouble, and then finally at 18, he's kind of released from the orphanage and he witnesses some people having sex and getting caught by the Mother Superior and getting beaten because they were naughty. He gets beaten for witnessing them having sex. I mean, he's just beaten for anything. And then he's released from the orphanage and gets a job at Ira's toy store. Ira's lovely toy store. And suddenly everything is wonderful. And we have the greatest song in movie history and a montage of being happy at work. The Warm Side of the Door. It's a great song. I've posted a link to the YouTube video of the song. You can listen to it.
Yeah, I figured you were going to do that. I didn't rip it because I knew you had that.
Yeah, everybody wants to listen to the song, The Warm Side of the Door. And it's a great montage of how life can be happy when you're working in the stockroom of Ira's toy store. And then Christmas comes along, and the guy who's going to be Santa can't be Santa because he broke an ankle ice skating. So Billy has to be Santa, and it triggers something in him, and he goes on a murderous rampage and kills lots of people, goes back to the orphanage, and gets killed himself. And there we have. There's the review right there.
It's a howler.
Howler.
Well, that's that's the movie. Thanks for tuning in. That's what we saw, and he tells no lies.
That's the context of what we're dealing with here. Now let's get into some specifics. This is not, to my mind, a couple of things. First of all, this is a movie made to mess kids up. This movie would mess a kid up bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's I don't know if the intention was to mess kids up because I think the intention was to just get as many teenagers in the audience as possible. But the collateral damage of children seeing this movie isn't something they seem to care about.
No, and there was a lot of protest about that when it opened.
Yeah, the parents went crazy. They picketed this movie. It was a very famous case of pushback from the public.
And opened the same week, same day as Nightmare on Elm Street?
It did. It actually made more money in the initial run than Nightmare did, but then it got yanked out of the
And
theaters, and
suddenly started not making so much money once
quite
they played
suddenly,
it.
no money was coming in.
Yeah. But the other thing that's interesting about this film that I thought is that it's not your typical slasher movie in that it really focuses the first half hour focuses on the character's backstory and the creation of the slasher, and not something like a Michael Myers or uh, something like that where we jump right into the, in Halloween we get a very quick snippet of Michael Myers at the beginning of Halloween, right? We don't get his full backstory.
Right. We only get, we get a snippet of it. We get some description from Donald Pleasance early on in the movie about him. We get some backstory, but we never learn a lot about him. And we know that this is a similar case. In the case, Michael Myers saw his sister cavorting with a young man and set him off on a murderous rampage.
Right. But this is like a biopic at first. And then suddenly seems like it's going to be a biopic with a happy ending about how even somebody who's tortured and maligned as a child can end up having a happy life as a stockroom clerk at Ira's toy store.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to forgive me because my cat needs to make an appearance on the show apparently,
No,
and
no,
he's not
no
gonna stop
forgiveness required. I love having guests.
talking. Pardon me. Excuse me. This is beyond belief. You.
Oh,
have
now I've been
become
left
impossible.
alone. I've been left alone.
All
on
right,
the
I
show.
can't hear you, but you can see that this is Harpo,
So
and
yeah,
he's in fine shape. He's just very vocal and wants to hang out with me. I
wants
think.
to hang
So,
out. That's awesome.
there you go, buddy. Maybe you could be quiet during the show, though, which would be outstanding. Now I'm back. Hello.
I told stories about you while you were gone.
I'm sure you did. So, where were we before that intrusion into
We
this?
We were talking about the how it not being the typical slasher movie.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
then
I guess so, although, you know, there are other movies that do, that Robert's Blossoms movie that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago actually does that, sets a lot of stuff up. The Screaming, I think it's called The Screaming Claw, is similar. There was a tradition of these kind of horror movies, after Psycho. There were a lot of grindhouse movies that weren't as famous as this one that have similar backstory threads where you really follow them along. But in terms of the slasher milieu of the 80s and stuff, nah, I guess that's pretty different.
yeah, a lot of sympathetic stuff built for him before he loses it.
Yeah, sure. Sure, yeah.
You're not buying this for a second.
Well, you can build something, doesn't mean it's going to fly anywhere. It doesn't mean anything.
Wasn't that the tagline for Flight of the Phoenix?
Yeah, well,
What it
exactly.
said on the poster. You can build
Yeah.
something. It doesn't mean
it's going to fly anywhere.
Right.
I guess so. Sure. I mean, does that make it good, or is that
No.
does that give it? Is that an honorable aspect of it or not?
No, I don't think it's an observation.
Okay.
And I sort of resented the incredible amount of time that was spent on all of that before we got to the murderous rampage.
Yes, I think what you've actually hit on something is actually kind of key, though, because you do resent it because it's not a creative decision to have done that to me. It's just the most mundane one that they could think of, and it
Exactly.
plodded along with it just like it did everything else.
And
So
you know what's coming, and there's no suspense to the trigger.
this movie exists to have ladies have their blouses ripped open. That's why apparently this movie exists.
Yeah, or just not wearing one in the case of Linnea Quigley, who
Okay, we'll get to this, but because this is one of the great scenes in the film,
it is a great scene.
I'm gonna call it the pool table scene,
Yeah, we can call it the pool table scene.
where a woman goes to the front door, answers the doorbell to see what's going on outside, completely just no shirt at all. No, doesn't even
Yeah,
think to
but
put one on.
well, to her credit, she's in her underwear when the doorbell rings, and she does have the decency to put on a pair of hot pants over her underwear before going to the door.
I give her plenty of credit. It's not. Don't get me wrong. I just found that an unique moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you saying that somewhere someone was trying to do something responsible creatively, or trying to make this
No,
good? No.
no, no,
Okay.
no, no. I'm merely observing that it departed from the norm in sort of no, not thrusting us into the action and then backtracking to, oh well, this happened to this person. We really get to know the killer
Well,
before
the
the killing starts to take place.
I think actually you've hit on something, and the real difference is that this isn't just that it takes longer and it's a backstory. Is that the main character is the killer?
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
is
usually it's he's a remote figure, and the main character is the girl or the couple that's being terrorized, or
yeah.
but
Whereas
he's the main character. Yeah.
there's nobody we get to know and identify with and care about being chased by him. So it's really just sort of a news at 5, Santa goes on a murderous rampage.
I think that's. I mean, this movie didn't upset me or disturb or like scare me or disturb me, but it did make me a little nauseous, and because it's kind of disgusting, and I mean its whole reason of being is kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the gore or anything. It's just that it's really misogynistic. I feel like this is the prime example of when people say slasher movies are brainless and just misogynistic and just about, showing naked ladies and violence. They'd point to this movie and you'd be like, you got a point.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yes, that's
No,
true.
there is nothing about this movie that I'm going to defend. There are moments in it and shots in it and sequences that gave me a great deal of entertainment.
Oh
I
yeah, for sure, for
I will
sure.
say,
There are some
um,
gold standard, just fantastic scenes in this movie.
yeah, the robbery of the convenience store at the beginning when um, what's his first name? Dear Cop, uh, the character actor, Charles Deercop, who plays the killer at the beginning,
Oh yeah.
who worked with Pop in Freebie and the Bean, and
Oh
yeah,
right.
yeah, and
That's where I remember him. Okay.
he's been a bad guy in a
Forever.
lot of movies. He's been a
Yeah.
bad guy, and he kills the convenience store clerk and walks out of the convenience store in his Santa costume and looks at the money he got from the till and has arguably the greatest line in the movie. $31. Merry fucking Christmas. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but then the sequence, the Christmas Eve sequence at the at Ira's toy store. Um,
I have to just say that I love that there's a huge Christmas themed toy store that's called Ira's. I
I,
just find that to be great.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like when Pamela was pregnant with Atticus, the big toy store here in LA, not toy store, the big baby goods store where you went to buy your cribs and everything was named Sid's.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, not a very and it was just when Sid's was becoming a thing. It had been around forever, and it's not around anymore. I don't
Oh,
think.
that's
Yeah,
yeah, that's really unfortunate.
yeah,
That is not the proper kind of irony you want to have experiencing in your life.
no, no.
Um,
But the thing about that Christmas Eve at the toy store that I didn't get is all these employees waiting to close up the store on Christmas Eve, and they close up the store on Christmas Eve, and they don't leave. These people have no lives to go to.
I
They don't
love
have
that
families.
Christmas party.
They don't have family. They don't have friends.
Oh, it was great. I loved
Yeah,
that I actually did like that about this movie, and
yeah.
that whole the I that store, and my favorite part of the film, Mr. Britt Leach, who I think is
Oh, he's
as
spectacular.
Mr. Sims.
Yeah.
Here's an example of an actor that got to the set, realized what was happening, realized the movie he was in,
Right. Right
and
away.
said, "Screw it. I don't care. I'm going to entertain myself." And
Yeah.
he's hysterical. He's absolutely great. And
As did Nancy Barganick, who played Mrs. Randall. Same
she did a
thing.
great job as well. But he particularly made me. They gave him a lot of stuff, and he has monologues, and he has great like physical business, and he kind of kills all of it. He's great.
7 o'clock. It's over. Time to get shit faced.
I was thinking how much you would love to play a part like that.
Oh my God. I've gotten to play a part like that in a couple of movies. I did. I played a cop in a movie called Cursed. No, The Curse. There's a movie called The Curse
Oh, I
about
remember
the woman who
this.
gets she turns into a werewolf when she gets her period.
Right, right, right.
And goes on dates with she's sort of mousy and dowdy, and then when that time of the month hits, she gets super sexy and guys hit on her, and she goes out and
And kills
goes
them.
on a
Okay.
date and kills them.
Hmm.
And I played the partner of the cop who becomes romantically interested in her, and I got to do all kinds of
This was a Tony Kushner thing, right?
yeah, yeah. I don't think it's available anywhere. And then I got to be in another slasher movie called The Orphan Killer.
I don't think I ever saw this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I should,
Please, let's maybe try to see that for the show.
Okay. Yeah, The
I
Orphan
didn't know
Killer.
you were into. I said that's fantastic.
Had a very small part in The Orphan Killer, though.
I
No.
only, as much as I love horror stuff, I was only ever in one kind of horror themed thing. It was a short movie I did before the lockdown,
Oh yeah.
and it was fun. But no one ever. I'm always just a guy in a yellow tie yelling at somebody. That's what I do.
Um, so let's get to some of the murders, right? There is the first murder, right? The strangulation of the fellow who's sort of
Well, if you don't count the boy's parents getting murdered in the first 2 minutes
his,
of the
his
movie.
first murder. His first murder is
His first murder is of the social the social climbing young executive who works at the toy store.
yeah, who is date raping the female employee in whom Billy is interested.
It's not even really a date, I have to say. There's
No,
no
he's
date
all right,
part of
he's
it.
raping
Actually,
her.
it's a very unpleasant scenario.
But he gets her to go back into the stockroom with him with
Yeah,
a
that's
series of lines that are straight out of the worst porno movie ever written. I mean, it's literally he's saying, "I've got a Christmas present for you. Let's go into the back room. I want to show you."
oh, it's disgusting. It's
It,
absolutely awful. I mean, I it's really bad. And
it's
I can
hard.
laugh at this kind of thing sometimes, but there's something about this movie that none of it. I didn't
No,
even have like a good like laugh of like, oh, how disgusting we were back in the times. It was just like, oh my god,
no.
you really kind of. I think
So
you hit the nail on the head.
he's raping her, and Billy saves her actually by killing the guy, by strangling him with one hand, straight armed, holding him up in the air.
Yeah, he does the whole Darth Vader liftoff of the guy,
Yeah,
and
strangles
apparently he's
the
super
guy, kills him,
strong.
and then turns around and stabs the woman who he's just saved, and kills her.
Well, not after she freaks out and blames him and says, "How dare you?" And she can't because she freaks out that he killed somebody
Yeah,
first.
instead of saying, "Oh my God, you shouldn't have killed him, but thank you for saving me."
Yeah, something like that. A different
Yeah,
line choice maybe
yeah,
would have saved her life.
and
Who
prevented the
knows?
whole killing spree.
No, I get the feeling he was going to kill them both no matter what because that's naughty.
Yes, it is
You're
naughty.
being naughty, and he's going to stop you from doing that.
And he's there having flashback in they're intercutting with the memory of
Yeah.
his mom being raped by
I mean,
Santa.
see, the amazing thing about this movie is that as you describe some of these scenes, minus the descriptions of these horrible assaults on women, which are as no fun to talk about as they are to see in this movie,
Yeah.
you keep thinking that other parts of it sound like a fun, jolly time. Like, oh, that sounds crazy. A kid, it's like a psycho movie where somebody puts on a Santa outfit and has a moment where children have to sit on his lap because the store owner makes him dressed up as Santa, and he has a psychic transference moment where he looks in the mirror and sees himself as Santa, and now he's embodying all of his fears.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing in some way. I want to see that movie very badly. This just
This
wasn't that
wasn't it.
movie for
Yeah.
me. No, it's got a reputation. People like it. I don't know who those people are, but they
I
do.
don't know if I want to hang out with those people.
Not sure I do either. This does feel. You mentioned like it feels like it's like made by a porn film company. It feels really got that like this is the first time they've made a legit movie.
Yeah.
It really has that feel to it.
Couple of shots though in that sequence in the toy store that did approach creepiness. The returning to the sort of the electric Santa that is sort of
Right?
swaying a little bit.
When
Creepy image.
when the store helper dies, that's actually pretty creepy and kind of worked in a horror way. He kills her and she falls down in the fake snow at the feet of this mechanical Santa, and it's moving in its weird mechanical Santa way.
Yeah.
Very disturbing. I will give it that.
The other
Good
thing,
call.
when Ira is about to go into the back stockroom and we know he's going to get killed. So we've had the first murder with the straight arm strangulation, second murder stabbing the rape victim. Then Ira goes off looking for where have all my employees gone? I want to keep drinking and being crazy. And as he starts going back into the stockroom, the display behind him is Halloween monsters, and I thought that was a nice touch.
Okay,
That
they're yeah.
I don't know if it was conscious. It's probably just what happened to be there in the toy store.
Listen, sometimes you just have to be like, what's good about a movie is that there were things in it that they shot, and people had things behind them and in front of them, and they shot that.
Yeah. So then he gets killed, hammer to the head. Then Mrs. Randall gets killed, thrown through a plate glass window.
No, that's somebody else. She gets shot with an arrow.
Oh, that's right. She gets shot with the arrow when she's trying to get out.
Why they have real bows and arrows at the toy store, I don't really know.
That was a question to me as well. Then he goes off from there to. Then
Can we stop for a second though?
Yeah.
Just because we're out of the toy store now, we never go
Yeah.
back, and we have to. I have to just ask the question: Did Lucasfilm know that they made this movie or not? There's nothing but Muppets and Star Wars toys all over this movie.
Oh, I didn't notice.
How did they license that stuff? Maybe, I mean, this was 84.
Wow.
They were licensing things then.
Huh.
Did
Interesting.
it fly completely? I mean, I wonder if it just got shut down so fast that no lawyers got a chance to actually get after them for it. Because there's nothing. There's a Big Bird. There's Sesame Street stuff. There's Oscar the Grouch. There's a lot of Star Wars toys in this movie, like in boxes with labels on them. I mean, you can see
Right.
Star Wars. It's crazy.
Hey, there's no such thing as bad publicity. That's probably what they were saying to themselves. But
Right.
this movie puts the lie to that statement. This
Look,
movie would be.
there's still I paid to see it the other day. They're still making some money. Although that's crazy. The filmmakers are broke. Let's face it.
So then we cut from the toy store to the basement of my friend in high school, David Friedlander. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Um, and a young high school guy trying to get busy with the babysitter while the little girl is asleep upstairs.
Yeah.
And Santa comes in and kills uh, her
Yeah.
uh, by impaling her on the antlers of a big deer head in the living room of the house. I guess you could say somebody was horny. Oh, sorry. I don't know.
How dare you?
I had to do something with it.
Honestly, how dare you?
I had to do something with it. So impales the unclothed, except for the hot pants, Linnea Quigley, Queen of Scream, uh, in arguably the best sort of Halloween-esque Scream fest murder in the movie. If you're gonna go for that kind of thing.
I guess when people are like, "Oh, those kills were great. That was a
Yeah.
great kill." I guess that was a great kill, I suppose, but none of it seemed inspired. None of it was
No.
terribly inspired at all. Not even
No.
that part of it. It's gorier than you kind of imagine it's going to be, partly because they fake you out with all these kids in the movie.
Yeah.
That's one of the uncomfortable things about the thing is that
Well, Tony, I don't think the kids were there at the same time that they were shooting the scene.
I
with
don't
the
care
little
about how
girl.
the actual actors were doing. I could care less. I mean, as a viewer, the
Gotcha.
experience of watching, extremely violent, extremely kind of like sexed up, horrible, violent movie with really little kids as the main characters in it. There's a few movies like that. This is one of them that it's an uncomfortable mixture of
Yes.
elements that I did not enjoy. Maybe it was my mood. I couldn't find that.
No,
This
I'm
wasn't
with you.
an enjoyable piece of garbage for me. This was just
No.
wasn't.
All right. What about the 3-shot jump cut of the hammer in the head? The hammer is embedded in Ira's head.
Just
and
in case you didn't know that they spent time on that makeup effect, they're
Yeah.
going to show you 3 times.
Yeah. Just a jump zoom in on the head. That was
As far as camera work is concerned, I mean, you really don't have to go any farther than that beautiful, elegant tracking shot, which ends up dissolving on a hamper full of dirty clothes to a man spilling dominoes onto a toy counter. Yeah, that was the worst transition I've ever seen. That was the worst thing I've ever
you
seen.
didn't like that one, huh?
No.
All right.
I do like we were at the pool table. Here's the level of humor and screenwriting we're talking about.
Okay.
Teen couple, about to get all fancy on the pool table, which it's like, really? This is a terrible idea.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable.
They're uncomfortable.
I've heard that.
She's, unclothed and uncomfortable, and his line is, 2 ball in the corner pocket. I'm like, all of you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. What about the shot of the cop who falls down into the root cellar when he?
That's when you're like, what? At the end of the last 40 minutes of the movie, the guy escapes and he's going to go kill everyone.
Yeah.
And we're describing the beginning of his killing spree where he goes off.
Right.
And then he just goes around the neighborhood.
Back to the orphanage is where he's.
Yeah. And so they just then start introducing new policemen. They'd introduce a police chief who's got like a scene and a half. They introduce a beat cop who sees him and then follows him, and then we're with this guy for like 20 minutes, following him around in the house and then out by the backyard. There's no sense to it at all. It's just like they got up every morning and they were like, okay, I guess he's gonna. What's in the script? I don't know. He kills somebody and then the cop, follows him around.
Okay. Well, here's one shot that I thought. Okay, for a second I thought somebody might have thought about this for just a moment. Was the shot when Billy is still in the orphanage as a young kid and he hears the sounds of people having sex. and he goes walking down the long hallway towards the people having sex, and there's at the end of the hallway there's a crucifix. So walking towards the sound of the sex is also walking towards this religious icon. And then we get to a classic keyhole shot.
Yeah. It has. I agree. It has a couple of things in it. There seems like there was somebody smart somewhere who didn't have a major voice in this, but had a couple of moments that were interesting. It was either
Well,
the camera, like the DP, or somebody, because it's not the worst shot. The interiors are the worst shot thing I've ever seen, but it's a pretty well operated movie. It's interesting. Like the lighting is terrible, but the camera work itself is not terrible.
hmm. Did you know that the director was uncomfortable? This is one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
That the director was uncomfortable directing the violence scenes, so they were directed, I think, by the editor.
You mean so the director didn't show up on the set for the days that they were shooting
I don't
the
know if he
gore?
wasn't there at all or if he hid in a trailer.
Wow,
Because
this kind of maybe explains something about the film.
like, I'm going to direct a slasher movie, but I'm uncomfortable with violence, so I won't be there for the violent parts.
So just send the money to a Swiss bank account when it's all over.
Yeah, I'll be there for the montage of the happy guy who likes to drink milk in the stockroom.
I gotta say, they could have made a really funny movie here. They could have made a great, howlingly funny Christmas movie, and they failed, which is the saddest part about it.
Well, I have a new thing that I'm going to propose tonight, uh, which is for each of us to tell the other who we would be in the movie and who the other would be. So you have to say who I would be and you would be, and I'll say who I would be and you would be in this movie because I've made my picks.
So wait, I have to say both who I would be and who you would be.
Yeah,
And you
then
say the
I
same
have to
thing.
say who I think I would be and who you would be. And I don't mean as an actor playing the part. I mean which one of these people is us.
Okay, let me think for a second.
And I think this should be a thing.
I agree. This could be a great thing we try to do in each case.
And no cheating. We always have to tell the truth.
Okay, I think that I am the guy who goes sledding.
Okay, which one? There's
The first, I'm the silent, chubbier kid who's on the sled, who's berated by his friend.
who doesn't get killed but gets his toboggan stolen.
Yes,
That's
who
who
gets
I said you. That's who I said you were in this movie.
Are you
I swear to
serious?
God, that's exactly who I said you would be. And if we need to, we'll have to write it down so that we can show each other. I think we should write it down on index cards
Okay.
so that we can prove that we're telling the truth.
Okay.
So that's who and who would I be? Because I know who I would be. Or who I think I would, in my head, I think I would be.
That's incredible. I can't. That's fantastic. That's just fantastic. Okay, who would you be? Who would you be? I'm trying to see if I have anything in my notes that's going to help me here.
And it doesn't have to be who you'd be like now, just at any point in your life, what.
You might be the first guy that gets killed in the movie. You might be the guy who works in the
Worker?
store.
Oh, I'm so crushed. Wow. I thought I was the guy getting busy with Linnea Quigley on David Friedlander's pool table.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, huh? You just assigned yourself that was the casting choice for you.
Well, not casting. It's not who we would play. It's like who we were at the time or
Oh, you're talking real life.
Real
Okay. So
life.
well
Yeah,
now I'm hurt because I thought it was who we'd be playing in it at that time. So now I literally am that kid on the sled. Oh, all right. Yeah, no, you're definitely the guy who gets killed first.
I mean, okay. I mean, I think who I would play in the movie
So wait a
would be
minute. I'm
the old drunk Jewish toy store owner.
no, I mean at the time. Okay, so no, I get it. You've cast yourself as a handsome, semi-clad Lothario who has a sex scene in a risky business style attractive teen comedy, and I'm a mute, silly, chubby child on a sled who gets his ass kicked and has no lines.
Oh, I knew this would be fun. All right.
I've been ambushed, Harpo. I knew it would happen.
So let's move on to pairings. What would we pair this movie with?
I would see this movie. Let's see. I had a good one and then I didn't like it, so I'm kind of like I kind of scrapped my first one. But I'm thinking something. I'm thinking Fear Strikes Out.
Ah, okay. We went in kind of the same direction. That's interesting. That's a good one. I did. We need to talk about Kevin.
Oh, very good. Very good. I'm a fan of that movie.
That is a fantastic and brutal movie
Yeah. And
with an
and
amazing performance by Ezra Miller.
I remember everybody being quite wonderful in it, and it's scary and disturbing and funny too, which I remember and appreciating that it's very kind of dark humor.
Yeah, and
Good choice.
beautifully shot. Really well
choice.
shot film.
Yeah, Fear Strikes Out is a black and white movie, which nobody knows about.
Carl
But
Malden and Anthony Perkins.
Anthony Perkins goes a little funny in the head.
Is Johnny Pearsall? What's that his name?
I think so.
Johnny or Tommy Pearsall?
I think it's Johnny, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on films. I'm just stuff I like to talk about once in a while.
So, and the very silly moment. What was your pick for a very silly moment in this movie?
We're gonna go back to the sledding scene. The beheading, the guy getting his head cut off accidentally in the sledding accident is, to me, that's pretty priceless. I just think that's kind of where they captured everything I do like about ridiculous 80s slasher movies was in that sequence. And it wasn't really anywhere else, but that I liked. And I have to say, runner up, just introducing those two cops in that squad car out of nowhere was like kind of brilliant.
Yeah. For me, I think it has to be the Chief's pose after he shoots Billy, where he looks like he's squatting over a commode.
He's just terrified that they didn't get the shot. He's not going to move. He's not going to ruin it for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen anything.
I want to give credit, though. I don't think I saw one microphone in the shot in the whole film. So good on you. Good job.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, you really are expecting that.
Low Bar Productions.
Can I say my other favorite thing, though? Has got to be what?
Mom is watching. She says she thinks it's Jimmy Pearsall.
Okay, Jimmy Pearsall.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you for helping us, and thank you for watching.
Thank you. Yeah, we need these numbers. We need them. We haven't mentioned yet the ode to Jack Nicholson's door smash in this fantastic art direction of the styrofoam door that he comes bursting through. It is basically from the Muppet Show. I'm thinking they got a prop from the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
pretty great.
Yeah, I think it's the leftover door from when Dad played the
when he killed all the
Muppets on
all the bunnies. Yeah.
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 When he was killing the bunny. Oh my gosh. I
This
don't
was
bring toys to naughty children. I
no.
punish them severely.
This I think that I probably know people that love this movie or would feel differently about it. And I get it only because I think if you were a teenager when this came out, I could see loving it. Like I could
Yeah.
see going to this as a teenager and just thinking it was the craziest, weirdest thing. And kind of I get its cult status that way, but it is a completely joyless exercise. A complete joy-free time.
Do you have a favorite line?
I do have a favorite line, and it's that same police captain you mentioned who says, when evidence is clearly to the contrary, the kid may be nuts, but he's not stupid. I think he is kind of stupid, actually.
He is kind of stupid. Yeah.
I think he's both of those things.
My favorite line is again said by your uh, governess, the Mother Superior, when he shows up at the orphanage at the end, and she says to him, "I am Mother Superior. So far, all you've done is harm."
I know.
I listened to that and I was
I
like,
stopped it too. I stopped the movie.
those,
I
those
stopped
two
it.
sentences don't go together.
It makes nonsense together.
It's
Why?
not like you
Yeah.
just made two statements,
Yes. Yeah.
unrelated. Yeah.
I stopped the film at that point, and I did a mental check. I actually to see if I was dreaming or breathing or had passed into another dimension. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good one.
I think I don't have anything else on
Boy, I don't really either. I have to say I am surprised at I consider myself a horror fan, and I had not seen this movie partly because I guess of all the genres in horror, I'm not just a huge slasher fan. That's not why I go to horror movies, is for slasher movies. It was never my favorite. And this is just not a good example of one to get you excited about the genre.
So
'Cause
no Blu-ray purchase for you on this one.
God, no. I just couldn't bring myself to. No. Like it made me second guess. Like, can I consider myself a card-carrying horror fan if I don't like this now? And I'd be
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yes, you can. I say you can.
okay.
Well, next week I have not seen the movie we're doing next week, Christmas Evil from 1980, but I have high hopes for this one because I looked at the cast on IMDb, and first of all, we know a remarkable number of these people.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out. I don't know who's in it yet.
Peter Friedman,
Okay.
Bobby Lesser,
Wow.
Steve Mendillo,
Oh my God.
Phil Kasnoff, who's married to Roxanne Hart,
Okay.
Jeffrey DeMunn,
Damon, I love Damon.
who I've never hung out with. I've met him at auditions. He's
love his
a
work.
spectacular actor. And Mark Margolis, just to name a few. I mean, it's
Okay.
an incredible cast.
So this is probably going to be a better experience. It won't just be Britt Leach keeping this whole thing together.
No.
It's going to be other talented actors as well.
No. And they may be, it's from 1980, so these people were younger and they'd done less, but it's going to be fun. And Bobby Lesser
Oh my God, that's great.
is always one of the funniest people I've ever seen. Always good.
Yeah, I have high hopes for next week as well, and the week following, because we got something fun planned for that one too. But
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
this was a bit of a disappointment. I apologize to anybody out there who went to see this because they heard we were seeing it. I doubt there was any of those people.
I don't think we're responsible for any ticket sales on this movie, past or future. I think we're safe.
Why? Because it's in beautiful standard definition on Amazon.
Yeah, well. So that's our wrap up. I think you guys should subscribe to this channel or subscribe to our podcast.
You think people should?
I do think they should.
Ooh. Okay.
Because we're fun to, even if the movie's bad, I think we're fun to hang out with. I know you're fun to hang out with. I enjoy
Well,
these hours.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I just felt that was a bit of a stern, it was less of a request, a happy invitation to join our show than a more of a like, I think you should do it because I want you to. So do it.
I do, yeah. Because if you don't, you are naughty.
Well, let's say this: if there are people out there who do like the show and are listening, and you feel like you want to go help us out at all, giving us a good positive review on iTunes is always really really helpful.
Very much appreciated.
You can write a little review or no review and give us the stars or all the stars you want. The more the better. But
Yeah,
that's actually really really helpful
yeah,
to our cause. But if you don't have time for that kind of thing, I understand.
yeah. And then tune in next week for Christmas Evil from
Yes.
1980.
And know that in the new year we are working on programming far better, superior genres of films, and we promise you it won't be
It won't be torture.
degradation and misogyny for the rest of the shows that we do.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next week.
Good night, sir.
Good night.